Coming up on the February 18th edition of Sports Extra, the International Olympics Committee has pinned some UNC athletes' dreams.
PJ is finally free and making himself at home in the starting lineup. We'll pretend the Duke game never happened and take a look at UNC's win against Virginia.
This Diamondback became a Tar Heel and is on a whole new kind of field. That story and more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
Down for the count, the International Olympic Committee has proposed to cut wrestling from the 2020 Olympics. Hello and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Sefia Magpie.
And I'm Madison Way. We have a series of stories about the IOC's decision to cut one of the most historic Olympic sports. But first, Teo Manval says the decision is a shock to the UNC wrestling team.
First-year wrestler Joey Ward couldn't believe it when he heard what he calls really bad news.
At first it was just a big shock, I didn't even know it was true.
The International Olympic Committee proposed dropping wrestling from the Games starting in 2020. The 28 wrestlers training at UNC all dream of getting to the Olympics, but now, even if they had the talent, they might never get the chance.
I think it impacts us really directly because 2016, the Olympics are, they're real close, so some of us, are training for that, but realistically, we're here for, 2020.
Many see wrestling as a part of the Olympics' DNA. It's been part of the Games since 700 BC and symbolizes the Olympic spirit to many people. But according to Coach C.D. Mock, history lost out against the power of money.
I don't want to twist this or spin this into a negative thing, but there are certain realities, and one reality is that I think the average Joe would be shocked at the level of corruption and politics that are involved in the Olympics.
The news has angered most involved with the sport, who can't comprehend how the IOC could come to such a decision. Associate head coach and former Olympic wrestler Kerry Collat thinks the Games wouldn't be the same without wrestling.
It's the foundation of the Games, so to remove it is shocking. To remove it from the Olympic Games, I think, changes the Olympic Games.
The final vote to confirm the decision will take place in September. The wrestling community has already started to band together in an attempt to get committee members to change their minds. In Chapel Hill, I'm Teo Manval.
Even if wrestling disappears from the Olympics, it'll stay at UNC. UNC will keep its program, but the regional training center at Fetzer Gym would close, and the 2 full-time Olympic athletes training in Chapel Hill would need to find a new facility.
The removal of wrestling from the Olympics means that the goals of UNC's wrestlers might change. But one of the coaches, Kerry Collat, did get a chance to go to the Games 12 years ago. Marilyn Payne shares his story.
He lost to UNC's TJ Jaworski as a college freshman. But in his junior year, Collat transferred from Penn State to Lock Haven University, then won all but one match in his 2 years there, including national title matches in 1996 and 1997. After college, Collat joined the U.S. National Freestyle Wrestling team. Collat placed in world championship matches and even participated in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. But mere participation was never the goal.
Everything about it daily, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, involved winning a gold medal. Nothing less than a gold medal. Silver wouldn't have made me happy, bronze wouldn't have made me happy, taking ninth, sure as heck did make me happy.
Now, Collat is about coaching the 125 to 149-pound weight classes at UNC, a group that holds 4 of the team's 6 nationally ranked wrestlers.
I work with them hands-on. I work with them individually on studying video. I go in the room and I work with them on technique. In practice, I might, be down their end of the room a little more than the other side. But I try to spread myself out too.
But through the Heel's personal and team successes this season, Collat still sees one thing he doesn't like every single day at Carolina.
Of all these pictures we have of TJ Jaworski, that's the only picture they can find is him beating me. Our wrestling room is brand new, so when he put that picture up, I'm like, you couldn't find a different picture of somebody else he was beating?
Those competitive fires still burn brightly. In Chapel Hill, I'm Marilyn Payne.
Coach Collat and the team beat Duke Thursday and then face the Citadel and Campbell at home this weekend. The Tar Heels kicked off the match against the Citadel Bulldogs by comfortably winning the first 4 categories. The Heels met their first loss in the 157-pound category when Chris Mears fell to the Citadel's Matt Frisch. Carolina's only pin came from 133-pounder Joey Ward, who took down his opponent after 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Despite 2 losses in the final matches, the Heels came out on top and were able to beat the Bulldogs 27-9. Head coach C.D. Mock is proud of his wrestlers for taking back-to-back matches.
But as a team, I felt like we wrestled very well. I'm very pleased with the guys. I think they wrestled very hard. They didn't overlook, come out here and, and overlook guys and start looking ahead to the ACC tournament, which is easy to do. They got the job done, and I feel they did it well.
The wrestling team competes again in March at the ACC Championships. The UNC men's basketball team lost its first matchup at UVA in Charlottesville.
But Saturday, the Heels shot the Cavaliers out of the Smith Center. The Tar Heels beat UVA 93-81 behind a career-high 29 points from sophomore guard PJ Hairston. UVA was able to stay in the game because of 27 points from guard Joe Harris. The Heels made 13 three-pointers Saturday, tying their season high. Marcus Page and PJ Harrison combined for 9 of the 13 made threes, helping the Heels improve to 7-5 in ACC play. Coach Roy Williams is happy to end the 2-game losing streak.
We made some shots today. There's no question about that, and it's a good feeling right now. We needed to have a good feeling in that locker room after playing at Miami and at Duke the last 2 days.
Mike Rodriguez now joins us live in studio to talk about this revitalized team. So, Mike, is the recent play from the Heels a hot streak we're looking at here, or a new team?
No, this is absolutely a new team. The athleticism in this starting lineup is amazing. NC State may have a little bit more athleticism, but honestly, right now, this is Carolina basketball, and the team is running, and I'm just getting tired of talking about it, running. And no offense to Joel James and Desmond Hubert, but they're not Tyler Zeller. They can't run the court like, a smaller lineup with PJ Harrison can.
Okay, and let's talk about PJ Harrison. What does he have to bring to the table as a starter?
Well, other than his three-point shooting, which is on fire recently, he can also make free throws. The Tar Heels are 65% from the free throw stripe, and he's shooting 80%. So all those extra points are really, really nice.
Really, really nice. And does anyone else benefit from having Harrison start?
Dexter Strickland does. Without a big man in the middle, he can attack the lane, going for layups. Everybody knows. I know, the coaches know, the players know, fans know that he's not a jump shooter. And when he's able to attack the lane, he's able to make free throws. It's really nice. And, McAdoo, he can play 10 to 15 feet away. So it just makes life a whole lot easier for Strickland and the rest of the team.
And Tar Heel fans certainly hope that life becomes easier and easier for our team. Thank you, Mike. That was Mike Rodriguez live in the studio.
Virginia leads the ACC in fewest points allowed per game. The Cavaliers gave up just 54 points per game, but that all changed with the Tar Heels. Tar Heels scored 24 more points than Virginia had allowed in any other game all season. Its previous high was 69 points against Maryland. Carolina also scored 53 points in the second half, which is more than the Cavaliers had allowed in both halves of 11 games this season.
Most of those Tar Heel buckets came from the Player of the Week, and the award goes to the man who is finally free. Harrison scored 23 points against the Blue Devils Wednesday. Against Virginia, Harrison scored 29 points, the most of any Carolina basketball player yet this season. The sophomore guard couldn't be stopped behind the arc. He swished 6 three-pointers and had 7 rebounds. John Henson, Kendall Marshall, and Tyler Hansborough were there to see Harrison seal the show. PJ Harrison for 3. We've heard the line quite a few times this week.
And it's coming from a UNC alum. Ryan O'Rourke introduces us to the voice of the Tar Heels.
As a freshman at UNC, Jones Angel watched from his dorm room as Vince Carter and Antoine Jamison carried the Tar Heels all the way to the Final Four. 12 years later, he had a courtside seat alongside broadcast partner Woody Durham for the Heels' 2009 championship run.
It's tough being courtside when Carolina wins the national championship. That was a special memory, and just a great team and a great season, and that was a lot of fun to be there.
Angel's broadcasting career began here at Fetzer Field, where he did play-by-play announcing for the UNC women's soccer team. He also worked as a color analyst for the women's basketball team and men's baseball team before officially being named the voice of Tar Heel baseball in 2003. Just 2 years later, Angel joined Durham for Tar Heel basketball and football broadcasts.
And it was very valuable for me also to be able to be there with Woody, to work next to Woody. Obviously, I'd been here for a while, and so he and I knew each other well and had done things, but to get to see him during a broadcast and to get to see the kind of things that he would chart during a game and to see his level of preparation really helped me.
From the College World Series to the Final Four, Angel has broadcast many historic moments for UNC Athletics, but there's one recent play that he says he'll never forget.
Bernard fields it at the 26, heading to the far side. Gio at the 35. Gio, he's at the 50. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Gio, he's going to take it for a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
No one can replace the legendary Woody Durham, but it's safe to say the torch has been passed to the voice of an angel. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ryan O'Rourke.
You can listen to Jones Angel again tomorrow night when the men's basketball team takes on Georgia Tech.
RG3, Rajon Rondo, Adrian Peterson.
What do these three athletes and one Tar Heel have in common? We'll tell you when Sports Extra returns.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
My dad's one of the producers here tonight. Bring this sweet.
You must be your fairy godmother?
It doesn't take a fairy godmother to tell you that the right fit means everything. Especially when it comes to car seats. Always choose one that's the right fit for your child's age and size.
Oh, that does make a difference.
Remember, their happily ever afters are in your hands. To find out more, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
My name is Fernanda. I'm the wife of a teacher. Budget cuts affected my husband's salary, so I'm picking up some part-time work. We're doing everything we can to make sure our kids eat today. Tomorrow, I just don't know. Fernanda, how'd I do?
Well, I usually fold the underwear first.
I meant the acting, but good to know.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Many people tear their ACLs every year, and the road to recovery medicine is very challenging.
Janelle Davis shows us one Tar Heel who has almost completed the journey.
Chris DiLorenzo was competing at a high level until one wrong move jeopardized everything.
I was competing at indoor ACCs, first throw of the competition, just kind of came through to reverse and just felt my knee pop a little bit.
That pop was DiLorenzo's ACL. Suddenly, he was on the 6 to 8 month road to recovery.
Throughout the rehab process, like some weeks are better than others, so it's got kind of a constant roller coaster.
He admits staying patient was the hardest part.
It's definitely strange when the first day I get on a bike and I can't even get all the way around. I can't even come close. So it's just like thinking about, oh my God, I can't even ride a bike right now. How am I going to throw 5 months down the road?
UNC sports med trainer Molly Smith has coached him throughout the process.
So the typical movement when people tear their ACL is their hip is going to be internally rotated, their knee will be in valgus, which means it's coming in, and their foot might be pointed out a little bit. And so we'll see this if someone's cutting or they land.
The ACL is one of the most commonly injured parts of the body.
There's between 80,000 and 250,000 people that tear their ACL every year in the U.S.
And for collegiate athletes, a serious injury can be devastating.
Also, it's really hard for someone who identifies so strongly as an athlete to suddenly be unable to do that for months at a time.
I've played sports my whole life. There's nothing like competition to me.
Chris is up. Chris is back in the ring, but he's still receiving massage therapy, doing leg strengthening exercises, and is always stretching.
So for this season, my main goals, definitely top 3 at the ACC, get on that podium, get some big chunk of points for the team.
This is a realistic goal. In only his second meet back, DiLorenzo won his event. In Chapel Hill, I'm Janelle Davis.
DiLorenzo's teammates took part in the Kent Taylor Invitational this weekend while he was resting up for the ACC Championships. Despite resting more than a few top competitors, Carolina's fastest still put up a good show during the weekend. Jacinda Evans swept the jumping events, winning both the long and triple jumps on the women's side. Freshman RJ Aloanle and Taylor Vipolis had standout performances, winning the 400 and 800-meter events respectively. Spinner Roy Smith recorded the fastest time in the 60-meter hurdles, crossing the finish line in just 8 seconds flat. Coach Josh Langley knows to be cautious with his team's success.
We do have a fairly young team, so you don't really know till the lights come on, so to speak. So we won't really know what type of team we have until we line up and put it on the line in a team-scored environment. And next week we're going to do that.
The Heels compete again in the ACC Championships this weekend.
Not all Tar Heels come straight out of high school.
One track and field athlete is old enough to start his second career. Evan Badler has more.
Although it might take some Tar Heels time to get used to the spotlight, javelin thrower Houston Summers knows what it's like to be under pressure.
There's no feeling like that. It's such a rush, and it's just you. All eyes are on you, and it's your time to compete, and you got to go out there and get it done.
The Arizona Diamondbacks drafted Summers out of high school in 2005. He was the youngest American-born player to sign a contract with the organization. After about 4 seasons of playing in all levels of the minor leagues, Summers decided it was time to make a change.
Some people may think I'm crazy for saying this, but I was honestly tired of traveling. I was tired of living out of a suitcase. I've always been a Carolina fan, and I wanted to come here with dreams and aspirations of going to med school.
With the new career goal in mind, Summers has made some changes in his daily routine, but says life of a college student isn't all that different from life as a pro.
You don't have as much freedom here at school as you do in professional baseball. If I wanted to sleep at the stadium and wake up and work out and spend hours and hours and hours doing that, that's what I did. That was my job. That's what I got paid to do. Now here at school, I have to balance my time a little better to make sure I take care of the stuff in the classroom as well as the stuff on the field.
Despite the added stress of being a new student, Summers has his sights set on more than a degree.
I think I have a chance to be really successful in the ACC this year, and there's some potential to draw some national attention as well. The ultimate goal being making it to the Olympic trials and hopefully Rio in 4 years.
That would make the career change complete. In Chapel Hill, I'm Evan Badler.
From one arm to a few more, baseball's in full swing in Chapel Hill. The Diamond Heels had their first series of the season, winning both games. On Friday, junior Kent Emanuel threw a shutout, becoming the first Tar Heel in school history to accomplish this in a season opener. The Tar Heels beat Seton Hall 1-0. Saturday's match was canceled because of the snow. Then UNC completely dominated the Pirates Sunday with a 17-2 win. 2 freshman standouts, Landon Lassiter and Sky Bolt, had 4 hits apiece. Lassiter scored 2 runs and had 2 RBIs, and Bolt drove in 3 runs. The Heels are taking on Coastal Carolina right now. We have that update for you. Looks like the Heels, it's in the bottom of the 7th, and UNC is leading 5-1. The hero so far is Chaz Frank with 3 RBIs.
Close, but no cigar for the women's gymnastics team in Raleigh this weekend. The Wolfpack edged past the Tar Heels, winning first place by just a 1/10 of a point. 6 schools competed in the Sweetheart Invitational at NC State Saturday evening. The Lady Tar Heels dominated the uneven bars, placing first with a score of 49.075. Elizabeth Durkak led the Heels on bars with a career-high 9.9. Durkak placed first in the all-around for the 3rd time this season. Head coach Derek Galvin said he was most pleased with the team's performance on beam, where Carolina tied with NC State for the highest team score.
Beam, I was really impressed with the composure that our team showed on that event. And, I think if we can continue to build on this, the rest of the season is going to be very exciting as well.
And you can catch the Heels in a rematch against NC State Friday evening in Carmichael Arena.
These Tar Heels might not have had spirit fingers,
but they were still prepared for total domination.
bro. Come on, man.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Track and field coach Harless Metters just stepped onto UNC's campus in 2012.
Although he's not the only African-American coach in Carolina Blue, he's the only one leading a program. Julian Caldwell reports.
As a UNC alum, track head coach Harless Metters can relate to his players, but he knows he and other UNC head coaches are in different shoes.
I was aware that I'd be the only head African-American coach. And I think it's an honor to not only be a head coach, but also to be one of the few minorities leading programs here.
Metters is the only black coach of the 22 head coaches at UNC, but says they all point to the same goal.
We want to do our absolute best to represent the university at the highest standard, and we want to put together competitive teams. So being a minority doesn't change that.
Director of UNC's College Sport Research Institute, Richard Southall, says alumni donors play a factor in keeping black coaches from leading programs in sports like football and basketball, although many former and current players are African American.
Do those people want a person that looks like them? There is some research that suggests that we hire ourselves.
And those who do the hiring usually aren't members of a minority group. There are a few minority coaches at peer universities such as Duke, NC State, and Wake Forest, which combine to have only one black head coach. Southall says the numbers don't need to be even, but the opportunities do. As a former UNC athlete who spent 18 years in the ACC on Florida State's coaching staff, Metters made the most of his opportunity and wants to give back to the university.
I've taken a lot from the university as far as life experiences and education, and it's an honor for me to be here and have a chance to give some back.
And represent more than just his school. In Chapel Hill, I'm Julian Caldwell.
Carlos Samano is the only other minority head coach at the university. He coaches the men's soccer team.
The number 3 might be fading from Fetzer Field, but many are working together to make sure the legacy of Kirk Urso is not forgotten. Urso, who captained the Heels to their 2011 championship, died last August of a genetic heart defect. This Sunday, the UNC men's soccer team and the Columbus Crew, his professional team, will play the inaugural Kirk Urso Memorial Match in his honor. Students are encouraged to attend the event and can buy tickets or make a donation this week in the pit.
The women's lacrosse team is now 2-1 after a dominant doubleheader performance this weekend. Friday, the Heels beat Towson 9-6. Carolina scored 4 goals in the first 11 minutes. The Heels then dominated Richmond Sunday, scoring goal after goal after goal. At halftime, the Heels led 10-1 and had outshot the Spiders 26-1. In the second half, coach Jenny Levy took out the starters to give young players more experience. UNC scored 4 more goals, taking the game 14-7. Levy was impressed with her team's play.
10-1 first half was a really good effort. I like that our foul total was low. I like that our turnover total was 6, which was excellent. And I like that we took a lot of shots.
The Heels will take on Northwestern Friday at 7 p.m. The Wildcats have won 7 of the past 8 national championships, including a 2009 victory against the Tar Heels.
The club golf team is gearing up for the spring, and team members have their sights set high this season. Carolyn Chandler has the story.
So close, but not quite close enough. The club golf team came very close to winning the national championship this past fall. This is the hardware the team won, claiming both regional tournaments to qualify for nationals at Sea Island in Georgia. The Heels were tied for first going into the final round, but fell to East Carolina University by 7 strokes. This semester, they hope it will be different. Senior and co-president Daryl Khalil.
We haven't won nationals since I've been in college, so it'd be nice to win in our last opportunity.
This is the best the team has been playing since the last time UNC won the national championships in the spring of 2009. Co-president Adam Mitchell says the team doesn't want this opportunity to slip away.
I'm afraid that this might be our last chance at that for a while, because a lot of our top players are going to be graduating this year.
Their toughest competition always comes down to East Carolina. Mitchell says that team has a few advantages.
Go in! Maybe part of that is because a lot of their players have been there for about 5 or 6 years, but that does seem to help them. They also are fully sponsored by their schools, so they have all their tournaments, all their travel, all their practice paid for. Something that, a luxury that we don't enjoy, but we still compete head-to-head with them each year.
Despite that, the team has been working hard at practice in hopes of getting a bid back to nationals in Indiana this April. In Chapel Hill, I'm Carolyn Chandler.
The club golf team plays its first regional tournament this weekend in Raleigh. You've probably seen it on YouTube, and now the Harlem Shake has come a little bit closer to home.
Next on Sports Xtra.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance. So we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww!
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Hey guys, thanks for coming.
Are we in trouble?
No, you're not in trouble. I just want to set some ground rules.
Like what?
Well, remember last week when you hit Vinny in the head with the shovel?
I do not recall that.
Of course not. Well, it was pretty graphic. Too graphic for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
I gotta make this up to you. This is Vinny's watch, and I want you to have it. You deserve it.
Thank you. That's really not necessary.
No. Come here.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
This weekend, Duke fell to Maryland in College Park. But in 1984, it was the Heels who topped the Terps, thanks to a UNC player you might have heard of. On February 19th, 1984, the Tar Heels beat the Terrapins 78-63. 25 of UNC's points came from, you guessed it, the one and only Michael Jordan. Jordan, who celebrated his 50th birthday Sunday, went on to win the Wooden Award, the Naismith Award, the Rupp Trophy, and was selected by 6 different agencies as the Player of the Year that season.
The Harlem Shake. It's taking over the internet, and now it's taking over UNC. Hundreds of students gathered in the pit to do the Carolina version of the Harlem Shake, which involves one person dancing to the music by Bauer. A Tar Heel Spider-Man filled the role in the Carolina version, but everything changes when the beat drops.
Do the Harlem Shake.
Addison, that really seemed like a lot of fun, that Harlem Shake.
Yeah, I definitely would be into doing that.
Definitely. Thanks for watching.
Have a great night.
And do the Harlem Shake.